We are now in our spotlight section. I'm the first one highlighting the EngRes Summit, which was a gathering as part of Lisbon Blockchain Week, where we got folks together from these various different teams within the EngRes working group and shared our progress and accomplishments over the past year, what different teams had worked on. You can see this video that is up on the PL YouTube channel with a lot of chapters where you can jump around to specific teams. You can link to specific teams. Highly recommend. People are like, what did you do this year? Share this video. Very useful to get a quick index. And we also each presented roadmaps for next year. These are work in progress and will change. We will present them again in January once they're finalized. But a great first look into what each group is going to be focusing on for the next year, and seeded a lot of really good conversations during Lisbon Blockchain Week. Hey, you know those folks, and it's actually really, really fun to rewatch this. So I recommend it even for people who were there in person to page back in. You've probably forgotten some things. Reiers, Nicholas, tell us about deals.
Hi, everyone. It was brought to our attention that storage providers were struggling with snap deals. We located the pain points, worked our way down the issue list, and the team managed to fix almost every snap issue reported. And to make it even easier for the storage provider, the TSCs made different ceiling layouts and made diagrams on what works and what doesn't. There are no new optimizations, but during testing and running the latest hardware, we managed to turn an empty CC sector into a deal sector in less than 15 minutes, which is really fast compared to sealing a new sector. There are 3 issues left on the board, but they should not be a blocker for any SP that wants to use the feature and onboard data fast. All the fixes will land in Lotus version 1.19, which will land in 1 week, and a full report with all the highlights from the sprint will be available on Notion. That's it. Thank you.
Awesome. Much requested, much needed. Thank you so much for doing that. I'm sure the SP community thanks you as well. SpaceNet, Alfonso.
Hello, everyone. So Marco already hyped this, but we have SpaceNet since Monday, and you can start running your own full node. You can start getting some test Filecoin, and soon you will be able to become a validator in the network if you want. So right now, that's why we call it soft launch. Right now, we are running our own validators, and we only allowed like full nodes. But what you should expect from this is first to provide snapshots for fast syncing. Like we actually started on Monday, the network. Now we're in 1,000. Like when I was doing these slides on Wednesday, we were in the 700s. Today we're 1,000. So this is growing fast. That's what 1 second block times means. So it means that now full nodes, like they have to spend a lot of time until they sync. So we need to start figuring out how we're going to manage snapshots or periodic snapshots for full nodes to be able to connect to the network and support light nodes in case someone wants to interact with the network without having to run their full node. And then once EFVM lands Lotus Master, we also will support Solidity contracts in SpaceNet, so that eventually will lead to not empty blocks and actual traffic coming into the network. And that's it. Like there's a SpaceNet Consensus Ninja for the faucet and a SpaceNet repo if you want to read more. And we have a demo afterwards in case you want to dive into the network. Thank you.
Awesome. Lots of questions. Join the Slack channel. On to Dennis for NAT hole punching.
All right. Hey, everyone. Quick update from me that or quick reminder that we will be running a NAT hole punching month during December, which starts today. So I highly encourage everyone to download a tiny tool to help us in this measurement campaign. So we want to measure the success rate of the decentralized hole punching that was implemented in Rust and Go and in the P2P. And the only thing that you need to do would be to download one of these clients, and which will one of these links on the left. And if you're on a Mac, you would see the thing that's on the right there, so a little menu bar icon, and you just start it up, and it's in the best case it says running, and that's it. And you leave it running throughout December, and it will send just results of hole punches to our server, and we will analyze this during January. You don't need a running IPFS node, and actually no technical skills are required. For the more tech-savvy people, there are also command line versions or Docker files, and also answer the Galaxy configurations. And optionally, you can also register on a Google form. The link is on the bottom left there. and provide some more information on your home network and so on, which will help us in our analysis at the end in January. And well, we have already 80 active API keys, as you can see in the top lower right. And yeah, please download the client and participate. So thank you.
Awesome. It's super, super, super easy. Get started. Last but absolutely not least, Hack FVM.
Hey, this is Raul. I'm filling in for Sarah, who's in a 17-hour journey right now, and she can't present. She basically put this together with Nikki, with Nikki from Alticore and other Alticore team members. Hack FVM was a hackathon in collaboration with ETH Global earlier in November, and some top line stats there: 400 plus registrations, showing very strong interest in the FVM. We had 117 project submissions, which is a 1 to 3.5 ratio, which is one of the strongest ratios that ETH Global has seen so far. And this was amazing because FVM is really being incrementally delivered. We shipped features, key features the day before to the Wallaby testnet, as long as together with the Filecoin mock Solidity library that Zondax put together for this. And literally this was like bleeding edge, going out of the development pipeline into the builder community with like minutes in between. And it was also a great forcing function to actually get all these deliverables from the team, getting a ton of testing done, and also DX clarity around a bunch of things. Some insights about the submissions: data DAOs were by far the most popular use case, accounting for 30% of the submissions, where FVM was basically powering storage proposals, DAO operations, and token minting. DeFi was the second most popular use case, accounting for 9% of the submissions, covering things like liquid staking, lending, automated AMMs, and soulbound tokens, which were a concept introduced to the Web3 space earlier in 2022, were also very popular. And people were marrying soulbound tokens with data primitives, which was pretty cool and pretty unprecedented here. And I think there's a lot to that. And that yielded 4 submissions. This was a great exercise for the team as well. We came back with a ton of learnings, and some of those were, we need a lot more comprehensive developer resources. We kind of like, this was put together very rapidly, and we stitched together resources from the forum, from docs and Zondax docs, and a bunch of other things. So we need to really put a lot of work there. We also need a clearer value proposition of why existing EVM developers should care about FVM. So there's a lot more messaging clarity that we need to land there. And also to be able to scale to other blockchain communities and new communities, we need a much better Filecoin primer for developers. So these are things that we're working on in the FVM team. And yeah, you can see all the submissions in the first link at the bottom of this slide. And you can see a recap that ETH Global also posted in the second link.
Super cool. If you are excited about building on FVM, check out the new RFSs, requests for startup, that Raul and team actually just put together as well. It's awesome sauce.
Quick note on Phil EngRes. So we had in a very fast-paced Huddle 01, which is a project that started on top of Filecoin. They are a group that started with HackFS, which was one of the first hackathons that we did with ETH Global, maybe the first one actually. Right around Filecoin mainnet launch, and has since become like a pretty strong startup in the Filecoin ecosystem. Organized Phil Bangalore, and it was a huge success. There were about over 1,100 attendees, primarily developers. There were over 30 speakers and over 20 workshops or something like that. There were several workshops for key EngRes projects like FVM, Bacalao, CryptoEcon, and so on. A ton of demand and attention for FVM. And computer over data and so on. You can see the workshops here, like they were super packed. So a ton of like learnings from all of that. And I guess a great learning here is that the dev community in India and Web3 has exploded over the last couple of years. Like it's just super massive. And there's a lot of interest and demand in our tech. So for all of our projects, I heard about, I heard from developers on all of the stuff that we're working on, from libp2p to DRAN to all kinds of things. So there's a huge developer community that's paying a lot of attention to what we're doing. And also super interested in contributing directly to a lot of the core protocols. So I got a ton of questions. I'm like, how do I contribute to libp2p, or how do I contribute to IPFS and so on? So I directed a lot of folks to repos. So should be hearing from folks there. And I think we should probably have a much stronger presence from our teams out there in 2023, and could be a great place to both recruit and to help form teams to participate and work on a lot of these projects. And from Phil Bangalore, we're going to have ETH India starting tomorrow, which will be another hackathon, and also a strong presence in Polygon Connect.
Awesome. We mentioned the EFVM RFS, the request for startup. Pretty awesome. There's a ton of great examples there. If you are looking for something to build over your holidays, or someone in your connected set is looking to start something really cool in the Web3 space, send them this. There's some really, really great ideas that can be super high value and could lean into that. But cool. That is it for our EngRes All Hands. Thank you all so much.